So the exhibition is Robert Beck, Robert Buck, States of America. One artist, two names, and the exhibition is a survey of his work. Robert Beck and Robert Buck, it's one letter change. He describes it as an artistic act.
It happened for many reasons. I felt as if my work as Robert Beck, which was very often autobiographical, had reached a terminus in a way. And I wanted to test myself. I felt like I could go deeper in the aquifer and find this untapped source of creativity.
As we examine some of the works in the show, they do reflect on your relationship with your father.
Yes, I think it's yes. But I also felt in 2008, which is when I did it, that things had changed. And bear with me, but all of those institutions of the 20th century, those institutions of the father, military, the church, all of those pillars of civilization had changed. And those, we could call it patriarchy, right? So I felt like there was this change in what in psychoanalysis is called the name of the father. And so I wanted to change the name of the father.
Robert is an American artist, and his work embraces American experiences, both traumatic, joyful, challenging, profound.
My art making is not easy. My background was a difficult background, and I think coming from a situation like that, your eyes open very early, and they stay open, and they stay open wide. And when you see injustices in the world or acts of malfeasance, especially something like Sandy Hook, and that we haven't done anything about it since, they stick to my ribs. But I'm not proselytizing, I'm not preaching, I'm saying something through art.
One of the works that I'd like to talk about is called Shot Number 7, Daily Over-Under at Close Range with .12 Pumpkin Ball. So what it is a drawing pad that he shot. So the title is The Bullet and how he shot it, and he calls these drawings, and it's residue of gunpowder.
I'm interested in what gets left behind. Not obsolescence, but what's the remainder? What are the remainders at the end of the day? What remains? And so I'm trying to kind of elevate some of these things as a reminder of, you know, when 100 years we look back, maybe these are some of the voices that can be heard.
So the wound filler piece is also that same act. So it's shooting a gun into a bucket full of wound filler, and the explosion of the bullet hitting that, the wound filler sort of fills, explodes out, and there's a hole in you can see where the space has formed from that action. Again, you have the remains of the action. Because gun violence is one of the themes that comes throughout and reappears in his work, because it's a constant topic in American life, both tragically, but also as a sport, but it's also the cause of great tragedy. So looking at the 13 shooters, this is embracing the difficult topic of school shooting in America. He shows images of the boys that appear in the media. They're not titled as the individual boys, rather they're titled by the media outlet. And it has a lot to do with how we experience the celebrity of it, the culture of the media's role in the topic.
The reason I bring this into the conversation now, I'm very excited about this development. This flocking is gunpowder.
Oh my God.
So I'm so happy about this development because I've wanted to use gunpowder for a while. And you could literally take a match
Well, let's not.
and light this, not here. But again, I felt like this.
What does this say?
It says, remember, they came swarming like a cloud to suck the day away.
His work is definitely provocative in the way that he wants us to think about important issues.